Bearcat trying to get win number 9 at the helm, coaching his 16th game as the interim. Bob Ritchie, meanwhile, in his 6th season at Furman, going after win number 130. Among active head coaches in Division I, Dean, he's got one of the better winning percentages.
He certainly does. Boy, so much good to talk about with Bob Ritchie. I mean, he knows how to win. He leads with great character, and he's got this Furman Paladin team playing at optimum speed right now as they enter February.
Corey Tripp, the sophomore guard for Wofford, unable to finish. Underway here at a place they call the Well in these parts. Beautiful 15,000 seat plus arena in the middle of one of the really great and growing cities in America, Greenville, SC. Jalen Slauson doing what he does so well, scoring near the bucket.
Yeah, that's where he's at his best. Can he make threes to keep you honest? Can he put it on the floor? Yes, but boy, he's a low down low, and if you don't double team, he'll take what you give him.
Talked about Pavletsky in our open. He can handle it. He can shoot it. Had a career high in the first game, as noted, 25 points. Jackson Civils trying to feed inside. Looks like Heen got a hand on it. Slauson can also fire from afar, but missing badly. Bothwell went for the save successfully.
Slauson a little bit anxious to pull the trigger right there. Thankfully, they'll get to kind of reload it just a little bit. He and Bothwell have been involved in this rivalry for now 5 years. And talking to Dwight Perry, he's only got 3 guys that have been in this thing. Mack, Corey Tripp, and Messiah Jones.
12 newcomers to the Wofford roster this season. Paladins have won 11 of 13 coming in. They've been one of the hottest teams in all of D1. From the outside, Marcus Foster, no. And Messiah Jones, the rebound, 6'5", but he plays bigger than that.
Certainly does. He led Wofford in rebounding 2 years ago. Only played in 5 games last year, unfortunately, to an injury that took him out of commission the entire season.
Had 7 in the first game. Can't get his first attempt here this evening. Bothwell and Slauson, both 5th-year seniors. Bob Ritchie, the head coach, says the story's still being written. But for a program that's won more than 20 games for the better part of the last half decade each season, says this could be the best team that he's had.
I don't think there's any question about it, and they're playing their best basketball at the right time. Guys understand their roles. They share the ball. The open man really is the go-to man each game.
Bothwell missing, trying to beat the shot clock. Tripp in transition. And a struggle for each team so far. Nice find inside. J.P. Pegues, Garrett Heen. And the Paladins jump out to the 4-0 advantage.
Well, if you haven't seen Furman play, you're in for a treat. If you haven't seen J.P. Pegues play this year or in the last couple of weeks, he's arguably the most improved player in the Southern Conference.
Pavletsky defended by Pegues. Slauson on Mack, a battle we'll watch throughout the game. Shot clock coming up on 5. Mack forcing. Cold start continues for the Terriers.
Now the Paladins will double once Mack puts it on the floor from the backside, the blind side.
Jalen Slauson had his 7th double-double of the season the other night in their win against Chattanooga. 15 points, 11 boards. Finger roll and a 6-0 advantage.
Well, the spacing on offense for the Paladins is so good. It allows everybody just room to breathe. And you saw right there, Slauson had an opportunity to put on the deck and get to the rim.
In the previous meeting, it was the Terriers that had a quick scoring run. This time, Furman.
And you can tell the Paladins are dialed in defensively here in the first 3+ minutes.
And one of the guys who's best at getting steals in the SoCon, Slauson, tied up with Mack in the arrow, points Furman's way.
That's turnover number 2 for the Wofford Terriers, who lead the Southern Conference in fewest turnovers. Watch it here again. Just too much dribbling by Mack. Really wasn't going anywhere. Slauson recognized it, got a deflection, led to a held ball, and thus a turnover.
Slauson, 41 steals now on the season atop the SoCon. Pretty much, you roll him out these past 2 seasons, he's been your Defensive Player of the Year until proven otherwise.
Yeah, he's the reigning Southern Conference Defensive Player of the Year. He's in the conversation again, although there's 3 weeks remaining in the this regular season.
Soft touch. He scored 6 of the first 8 points. Dwight Perry, the Wofford interim head coach, has seen enough. Jalen Slauson and the Paladins turning the tables on the Terriers. They have the early 8-0 lead here in downtown Greenville, South Carolina.
Back inside Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, Jalen Slauson helping his Furman Paladins get off to an 8-0 start, forcing that Wofford turnover. You can see it right there. He's arguably one of the most versatile players in college basketball. He does it at both ends. We talked before the break. He's the reigning Southern Conference Defensive Player of the Year, but don't sleep on him at the offensive end either.
36 blocks, another defensive stat coming in. Top 5 in 4 key categories in the SoCon, including points per game and rebounds. Furman's made 3 straight field goals. He'd made 2 of those 3 before our break.
And Pete, I say this every time we do a game. I mean, he's the guy that scored 19 points as a freshman.
Total for the whole season.
That's exactly right.
That was many years ago. Speaking of freshmen, Pavletsky, a huge answer for the Terriers out of the timeout.
And you can rest assured that that was talked about during the timeout. Is let's try to get Pavletsky and Mack to some extent. We've got to get them going, get them some touches.
McGeese had a good scoring game the first time against Wofford, a career-high 26. And now he's heard from here in this one.
Well, he is so important for their success. He has really bought into his role and elevated everything about the point position for the Paladins.
Pavletsky, second leading scorer on this team. That's your leader for the Terriers. B.J. Mack, better than 15 a game. Tyler Filowich, a Southern Illinois transfer, just checked in. Trip in the lane, lost it. Shot clock under 5. Civils. And the battle for the rebound. And eventually taken away by Pegues. Foster on the run.
That's what the Paladins do best. They turn defense into offense in the blink of an eye. And it is tough to get back. You better not turn it over. You better take good shots.
Largest lead so far for the Paladins. 5 straight field goals made. Pavletsky behind a screen from Filowich. And there's Slauson with another board. Paladins trying to go fast this year. One of the reasons, as we noted, they're averaging 82 points a contest. That's their best average since the 90-91 campaign, when they won one of their SoCon regular season titles. Foster crossing over, lost the handle. And the Paladins giving it up for the first time tonight.
Bob Ritchie's teams have always played fast. They're playing a little faster this year. They turn defense into offense in a hurry. When you got guys like Marcus Foster, you can absolutely put points on the board in a hurry.
Actually, I take that back. They flip it. It'll be Furman inbounding. So still without a turnover and a hot start. 6 of their first 9. Tyrese Huey just checked in. Filowich on the run out off the miss. There's Bothwell. Mike Bothwell had a career-high 36 points in his previous game this season in here. A tight Furman win against Stephen F. Austin. Well, it is a roll so far for the Paladins.
Including the game winner on the baseline.
Through the hands of Filowich. Nice idea, Pavletsky. 2-on-2 break. Bothwell by himself. It's getting out of hand early for Wofford.
Well, there's no question that the Paladins understand the importance of trying to keep pace with Samford and UNC Greensboro at the top of the standings.
9-0 run for the Paladins. Keep in mind, Samford got off to a good lead in Spartanburg last week against the Terriers. Filowich battling, but Huey pulls down the rebound.
Dwight Perry just trying to get some stoppage here.
And out of bounds, it'll stay in Furman's end. Carson McCorkle, a Virginia transfer, just checked in for the Terriers. They're trying to find an answer, but Furman making it difficult.
Well, and that errant pass, it's tipped, and then there's the lefty going with the right hand, Bothwell. He is, well, we talk so much about multiple guys for the Paladins. I mean, when you're talking about a fifth-year guy like Bothwell, a fifth-year guy like Slauson, and then the improvement to Pegues and Foster.
Good defense on the backdoor cut by Adam Silas, who comes up with his 17th steal on the year. Terriers getting a stop, haven't had many of those. Pavletsky creating off the dribble.
He looks like he should still be in high school.
Or middle.
Listed at 175 pounds, but boy, is he a dangerous offensive player.
Good hustle by Ben Vanderwall, the Furman freshman. Bothwell has it rejected from behind. Maury Tice got a hand on it.
Tice is a good-looking freshman. He's got a good motor. He really impacts things defensively with his length.
Shot clock at 5. Carter Witt, a Wake Forest transfer. The floater, no. Didn't hit the rim. Mack came away with it. Terriers just ended a nearly 3-minute scoring drought, and the foul will be called against Vanderwall on the block as Tice for Wofford drove to the bucket.
I'm not sure that's where Tice is at his best with the ball in the open court, but he was just trying to get something going. Freshman on freshman right there. Tice, who spent a prep year at South Kennepp in Connecticut, just trying to get some points on the board for the Wofford Terriers. They just absolutely just need to settle down, put some stops together.
Amari Tice, 75% of the line in limited trips. Tomorrow at 5 Eastern, don't miss the toughest 8 seconds in sports as the best bull riders in the world take their talent to Sacramento. Watch PBR Unleash the Beast right here on CBS Sports Network. Amari Tice, one of the more unique bucket list items you will ever see listed by a player. He hopes one day to travel to Dubai, Middle Eastern nation, so hopefully he's able to fulfill that as he makes 1 out of 2. And the Terriers have scored 3 straight after trailing 17-3.
Well, you get a sense that Wofford has been able to settle down just a little bit, but just by settling down doesn't mean that you're going to just contain this high-octane Paladin offense.
Pegues on the feed from Slauson. Battle inside for the rebound. Alex Williams unable to corral it for Furman.
And Pegues kind of taps his chest saying, my bad. He knows that probably could have kept the dribble alive and created a little more space and a better shot opportunity.
Paladins, after opening 6 out of 9, now 0 for their last 4. Here come the Terriers trying to extend a very modest 3-0 run.
Well, until that, right there by Mack, just too much dribbling right there. He's fighting the defense.
I think he realized late that he had picked up his dribble. Williams in transition. Gets his own rebound. Paladins a reset.
Nice unselfish move there by Slauson. He could have shot a 16-footer.
Vanderwall from the corner. 29% beyond the arc, but feeling good so far.
Well, people talk so much, and rightfully so, about Jackson Paveletzky as potentially the freshman of the year. There is no question Ben Vanderwall is one of the top 5, maybe better than that in this league. He's got a bright future at Furman.
Off the foot of Vanderwall. Terriers will keep on the other side of the timeout. Ben Vanderwall, a freshman, he has grown up in a hurry in his first year in purple.
He is very good at both ends, but he can knock down threes. Furman early, 20
this season when they have the ball. We've seen it so far tonight.
Well, there's a reason they lead the Southern Conference in scoring and field goal percentage. Right, 3 dribbles right there by J.P. Pegues. He finds Garrett Heen, and then off the miss, there's 1, there's 2. There's an extra bounce by Foster. That's the easiest way. You transport the ball, and then Bothwell does it there. There's a nice pace and patience as the Paladins always probe.
Bob Ritchie brought on a new assistant this year. He credits Chad Warner for enhancing their pace. It's something the Furman head coach was looking for coming into this season.
Yes, the Georgia native, formerly the head coach at Flagler College down in St. Augustine, Florida Division II. Very successful. And yes, Chad Warner has come in and just continued to elevate the pace at which Bob Ritchie's group plays at, but under control, limiting turnovers.
Furman has gone 90 and 62 all time against Wofford. Paveletzky been the most effective weapon so far for the Terriers. Runner for Tripp, going to get the roll. Wofford actually leads in SoCon matchups 30-23. Terriers admitted to the Southern Conference in December of 1995 and joined the league in terms of playing in the 96-97 season.
That last basket by Corey Tripp got to be good for his confidence. He's not played real well the last couple.
Dangerous guy when he gets the ball near the basket, and Slauson off to a good start after a 17-point effort in the first meeting.
And Jalen Slauson, boy, so hard to guard because he can make threes. He's good at a post-up, and now this year really good off the bounce.
Carson McCorkle, when he's on from long range, as you would understand, good things happen for the Terriers. And McCorkle from the right wing. Made a flurry of early threes last week when they came back from their opening deficit against Samford.
He can get it off really quickly if he can catch and shoot. High percentage behind the arc. He's missed 2 thus far.
Chase Martin, a freshman, defending the fifth-year senior Slauson. Here's the other freshman for Furman, making an impact. Ben Vanderwall, another 3 for him.
Well, he's got good size, and at 6'7", if he can get that ball above his shoulders, most guys in this league that are going to guard him are going to be a little shorter.
Lead grows to 17. Martin off the pump fake. Dangerous territory with a good shot blocker defending him, but Jones able to get right around Heen.
Just kind of surrendered right there and let Jones finish with the layup rather than attempt to block and foul.
Still a 15-point deficit. And they'll get Heen, or on a travel. Looked initially like maybe they may call him on the foul.
Yeah, we weren't sure there. Was it a flop? Was it a foul? Travel probably the right call right there for Garrett Heen. He's another guy, improved from freshman to sophomore year, and now sophomore to junior year for Bob Ritchie. Watch it here again. Martin, he can guard. I don't know that was as much a charge as it was a travel. Heen looked around. Martin's a guy that can play multiple positions because he can defend bigger guys like Heen.
Paveletzky looking low. Mack got hung up with Williams. And a turnover for the Terriers.
Frustrating few minutes here for B.J. Mack. He's got to make sure he stays focused and dialed in. He's so key for the success of this Terrier team.
Each of these teams have spent a good portion of the season figuring out their 9 or 10-man rotations for different reasons. Bob Ritchie simply saying it took them into early January to do that. They knew what they had in their veterans in terms of the 2 5-year guys, Slauson and Bothwell, but others was that player right there. Foster going to take another step and earn more minutes.
Yeah, as they lost Alex Hunter, who had over 120 career starts at the point guard slot, and Conley Garrison, who was an underrated defender. Yes, some guys have had to step into new roles, and now they've accepted them. They've gotten good at them, and yeah, there's real chemistry on this Paladin team.
We told you Messiah Jones just 6'5", but a strong move to the basket once more for the senior out of Chicago.
He's the last connection to that 18, 20, 19, 30-5 team that Mike Young had. What an outstanding team that was.
Slauson to his fellow senior Bothwell. Pegues off the deflection. Backdoor. A try by Pegues trying to get it to Bothwell. Deflected last by B.J. Mack. And we've got an official timeout on the court. Wofford in the hole. Furman dominant so far. Huge win for Indiana by 5 in Bloomington. So things tighten up a little bit up high in the Big Ten. Purdue 11-2. Rutgers 8-4. And Indiana now with Illinois and Iowa at 7-5 each. So that's what's going on up in the Midwest. Here in the Southeast, a SoCon showdown on a Saturday night. Schools separated by about 30 miles. Great rivalry. Their football rivalry goes all the way back to the late 1890s to give you an idea as to how long they've been playing. Actually, right around 1889, 1890. Foster out of the timeout. Can't get it to go for Furman. Paladins, though, have been hot. 54% from the field.
You can recognize by the crowd here the rivalry and what it means to this area. But for Wofford, they've got to get some stops, and then offensively, I was just going to say, they got to get B.J. Mack going.
31% beyond the arc, and we hear from the big man, the transfer from South Florida, who in the past couple of weeks has reached both 1,000 points in his college career and 1,000 points at Wofford. Had to sit out his first year there. Backdoor find. Furman does it so well. Huey to Pegues.
Well, this Terrier team didn't play. They were playing so well and just did not play well earlier in the week in the game against ETSU. Fewest points of the season, B.J. Mack just 8.
Mack defended by the sophomore Williams. Double team inside. Jones went up. And a late whistle. A rare foul call, Dean, so far. Just 2 in the game, both on Furman.
Now Mack getting going just a little bit. You see him up top. That's where his sweet spot is. And he gets him going, gets his confidence, and then the drive, the draw from the baseline, and a nice, nifty little pass in there to Messiah Jones.
As a team, Wofford 75%. Jones knocks it down the other night in their loss. Just 3 of 10 on free throws. Monday night at 6 Eastern, join our gridiron experts. They highlight all the Pro Bowl action. Get you ready for the big game on NFL Monday QB right here on CBS Sports Network. 1 of 2 for Messiah Jones. He's been effective scoring close to the basket. Wofford's going to need more of that. And Jones so far 5 in the game.
You talked about the roles now for Furman, and guys have kind of settled in, and you're right, now with some bench guys playing well, they keep the rhythm of the game going.
Bothwell from long range, and Bothwell unable to get it go down. Other end, Terriers had a mini run earlier, but going to give it right back. Foul called away from the ball on Jones. His first personal, and the first on the Terrier team.
Yeah, Jones was the first guy to the block, and he was trying to carve out a little bit of space in there. Watch it right under the hoop right there. He's just backing in on Huey. Just clearing out a little bit too much right there. Got a little bit.
The face rake at the end, yeah. I think, is probably what induced the whistle. Furman, best team in the league. Dwight Perry, the Wofford coach, says, at getting personal fouls against the other team.
And they're an underrated defensive team as well.
Bothwell, dangerous all over the court. With the Wake Forest transfer. Williams, pump fake. How about Alex Williams? He's really grown this season as a scorer in his second year.
And how good has he been during Southern Conference play here since the calendar turned 2023? Boy, has he been solid, confident behind the arc.
Back out to a 16-point lead. Adam Silas came south from the state of New Jersey. He's seen his minutes increase in the past couple of games. From long range, Martin. Mack battling with Bothwell for the rebound. And last touch by the Terriers.
You see guys on the floor, you know what this means right now. But boy, Alex Williams, as they had a chance to recycle that possession a little bit, boy, about 70% of his shots are behind the arc. He's the best offensive rebounder per minutes played for the Paladins.
One of 2 Paladins who had a career high in the win at Wofford. He had 20 in that Furman triumph. Lob back door. Foster couldn't find the handle, but Martin apparently last to touch it. A 96-82 Furman win. So they scored 96 points on the road. That pace has slowed down a little bit since the start, but that just shows you how effective they can be offensively. That's a very good Wofford defensive team.
No question, and Wofford's been good for years at the defensive end. No difference this year, although they really don't have a shot blocking presence, a rim protector, if you will. Just as a point of reference, B.J. Mack, just 6 blocks on the season.
Boy, they find the backdoor cutter, don't they? Pegues, though, unable to finish.
They certainly do. When they teach when you're overplayed, simply go back door. Don't fight the defense.
B.J. Mack has a size advantage on Pegues, takes advantage of it, went up and under the help, Foster.
It came too late, and the nifty footwork by Mack. He's got a lot of guard play in that big body. Now what do you do with Tripp on Slauson? Help's got to come, or it's going to be advantage Furman.
And Martin able to come away with a steal. 10th of the season for the freshman. Tice on the other end.
Nice job right there by Chase Martin, coming up with that turnover and then finding the sprinting Amari Tice. Really one of the first opportunities that the Terriers have been able to get out and run. Watch the Mack basket here, up, under, great footwork. And then at the other end, after the tipped steal by Martin, he finds the sprinting Tice. Nice back-to-back defense, offense possession for the Terriers. Still down 12, but a lot of fight left in them.
Bothwell thought about it from the elbow. Yeah, Wofford at this point in that mindset, try to have a single-digit deficit at the half, you would think. Pegues, got to be tough. He knocks those down.
Yeah, and that's when an extended hand by Pavletsky really was not bad defense, as boy, two of the best young point guards in the Southern Conference.
Martin's playing time has increased since SoCon competition began. He drives on Bothwell. McCorkle on the wing Mack. Try to find a man open, and Tice instead goes underneath, and the finger roll finish by McCorkle.
Boy, nifty little move right there. He can surprise you now. I mean, the scouting report says deep three-point shooter, but he's got enough athleticism to score and around the rim.
Terriers trying to hang in. They've made 6 of their last 7 from the field. Trying to get some stops. They were not doing that over the first few minutes. Bothwell down the lane. Mack got a hand on it. Paladins will keep with 10 on the shot clock. A tussle between rivals. Mike Bothwell and the Paladins trying to go 2-0 in this building on the season. Furman Paladins up by 13, closing in on another 20-win season and trying to remain in a 3-way tie for first atop the Southern Conference. Coming up on AT&T 5G at the half, we go back to the studio. Brent Stover, Sheldon Mack, John Rothstein, and Seth Davis. AT&T 5G at the half. You and I in the timeout were talking about the Butler Bulldog, Sheldon Mack.
Yes, a very good Butler Bulldog he was. That's an A team right there. Rothstein, Seth Davis. You know that March is right around the corner. Boy, calendar turns to February. Every game matters.
And when I bring that up, the Furman Paladins, under their previous athletic director, Mike Buddy, who did a great job here, and now under their current man in charge, Jason Donnelly, they have used the Butler model. Mike Buddy and I once talked about it. Play some games in this downtown arena, become an elite mid-major program, and suddenly become a ball club that can beat anyone pretty much anytime, anywhere. And Bob Ritchie has done a really nice job building that for them.
Certainly have. Bobo with the turnover would like to kind of finish that. Nice job right there. That's the second time this half that Tice has put it on the floor full court. Shown some real nifty perimeter moves. But yeah, back to your point, there were so many expectations of this Furman team after last year. I mean, they thought they had finally gotten back to the tournament. And then, here comes David Jean-Baptiste for Chattanooga, hitting the 30-plus footer at the buzzer to lead Lamont Paris's group to the NC tournament. But Bob Ritchie's group, quite honestly, had a good non-conference season. They beat a Belmont team that's near the top of the Missouri Valley. They beat Appalachian State. They beat a SEC South Carolina team. And it was just the expectations were so high, and they're trying, you talked about it, they're trying to institute a new point guard in J.P. Pegues and Marcus Foster. Now that these guys have found their roles, found their footing, they're arguably as dangerous as any team in the Southern Conference.
Carter Witt, who picked up the personal moments ago. Just the third and a half on Furman. Pegues once again from out high. Another three-pointer. 3 out of 4 beyond the arc. He's got 11.
He's a guy that didn't play a lot last year in this rivalry, either game, but you mentioned it earlier. He had a career high 2 weeks ago in the game at Wofford, and now tonight. Boy, he's been terrific.
Boy, Bothwell rejecting Martin. Chase Martin at 6'5", the 6'3" Bothwell from NBA range. Not that time for J.P. Pegues. I just saw Martin hit the deck. Mack brings it front court. McCorkle. A couple of guys who transferred to their programs from the ACC. How about Tice?
That's
tough day beyond the arc continues for Wofford. 2 out of 8.
That's not where Tice is at his best. Just 2 of his last 10 behind the arc.
Now Martin defends Bothwell.
Now he can do that, but he may need some help.
Fifth-year senior took him to school. Martin would be the first one to tell you that.
Martin's a natural small forward. They can play some small ball with him at 4. High IQ guy, but Boy, Bothwell, he's going to win that battle most times against most guys in the Southern Conference.
17-point advantage for the Paladins. Bothwell takes it away. 23rd steal of the year by himself.
And he just, the pace, he just let things develop. There's a reason that guy right there has scored over 1,830 career points in a Paladin uniform.
7-0 run for the Paladins, their largest lead at 19.
Just when you thought before that last break that Wofford kind of had found their footing.
Pavletsky, Tice, great find, great finish. Freshman to freshman, and Bob Ritchie thought it was a use it or lose it timeout used by him, but he doesn't do that all that often. Wofford calls the timeout, trailing though by 17. Against UNCG back in the middle of January, a ball game they led by 13 in the second half. Give the Spartans, Mike Jones' team, credit. They came back and forced overtime, got the win, but the Paladins have been almost unstoppable since, in part because of this guy.
Yeah, he's really talented. Mike Bothwell, one of the SoCon's best players. You don't want to just say he's one of the best guards. Look at the pace right there. Just lets things kind of develop. It's interesting. I mean, he's always been known as a scorer, but he's distributing more than ever. Yet his scoring and his field goal percentage at an all-time high this season. So it kind of suggests if you're a young guy and your coach is telling you, give it up, the ball will find you, it will.
Playing for a final shot with the shot clock off. Here they go, under 10. Kick in the corner. Not that time for Vanderwall. 3 seconds left. Trip for the Terriers. It'll count if it goes. And we arrive at halftime. All Furman in the opening half of play. Paladins, over the past few years, have played 7 games in this downtown Greenville arena, trying to make it 6 wins in 8 battles at the well. Paladins are 17-1 this season when they lead at the half. Wofford has won twice when trailing at the half this year in 10 previous games. Corey Tripp, Terriers get the ball first. Couple of Ohioans underneath as he went against Bothwell. And there's a guy from Charlotte, North Carolina, hoping he can reign here in the second half.
Slight numbers slightly down the last couple of games, but boy, he's a capable offensive scorer, and he can get it going in a hurry. BJ Mack, Pavletsky, the 2 guys that really going to have to play well here in the second half for the Terriers.
Foster last to touch it.
But I would remind you, BJ Mack, as talented and as good a scorer as he is, this is a deep 3 now. Catch, shoot. Slauson doesn't have time to put his arms up, but he can't just sit outside the arc. He's got to go inside. He's got to move.
Tried to shed Slauson there. Terriers in the opening half shooting roughly 45% from the field. It's not like they were terrible after a slow start.
No, but they gave up 24 points in the paint to Furman. Just can't allow this juggernaut offensively to put points on the board like that.
Jackson Civils, a Murray State transfer for the Terriers. 5-0 run coming out of the locker room, and they're back within 12. Bothwell, as Wofford camps around him. Forcing it. And the rebound, Pavletsky. Terriers had a mini run in the opening half to get a little bit closer than nearly 20 down. They'd love to start out half number 2 the same way. Pavletsky way outside. Another 3 for the freshman from Kimberly, Wisconsin.
And I'll tell you what, Jackson Civils will not get credit. That was an outstanding screen to free the freshman behind the arc. You don't tell me these guys don't respect Dwight Perry. Sure, that was a heck of a halftime talk. He's got these Terriers ready to play.
Garrett Heen fouled on his way to the bucket. If they say he was in the act of shooting, it'll be the first time in the game we see a Paladin on the free throw line.
Watch Pavletsky right here. If we can see Civils, he screens in. I'm sorry, I was wrong about that. That was Messiah Jones on the screen, and then the bench getting into it right here. I apologize. Number 25, Messiah Jones, with a terrific offensive play that doesn't show up in the stats.
Garrett Heen barely played in the first meeting between these two. He took an elbow and subsequently missed a couple of games as they had him in the concussion protocol. And he gets the bounce in the second. Just a 50% free throw shooter, as Messiah Jones picked up the personal for Wofford. And he has 2.
That's one of the few things that he doesn't do really well is shoot free throws, but both those look good.
Terriers had cut the halftime deficit from 18 down to 9 moments ago. Slauson defending Pavletsky. Felt like a steal for Jalen Slauson. Another good defensive play by the Low Country South Carolina native.
Just kept moving his feet to keep the offensive in front of that player in front of him. Watch him, moves his hands, then moves his feet. Just active. He knew that that was Paladin ball.
He had a flurry of points early, had 8 as it turns out in the opening half. And he gets it a rattle home from distance that time. So he's in double figures with 11.
36% behind the arc. Telling Messiah Jones, you thought you were going to come out at halftime. Yeah, Slauson just makes winning plays. He impacts winning every possession he's out there. The guys that log significant minutes, they've got to make a difference. They've got to make their teammates better. Slauson does just that.
Kick in the corner to Pavletsky. Not a bad idea. Jones battling. Mack comes away with it. Terriers had gotten within 9. Furman on a 5-0 run. Slauson defending Mack. Spin move. Nice finish.
Terrific. We saw it in the first half. Mack's footwork.
And another takeaway. Civils in the front court, gives it back to Mack, who just reached double figures with 10 in the game.
Yeah, you know, right there, Slauson impacted that play right there. Civils didn't want to attack the rim.
Jones down low, working on Heen. Nice job by Garrett Heen defending the junior out of Charlotte.
And the effort by Slauson then kept the Terriers off from putting points on the board that possession.
Heen gets it back from Slauson. Tripp came over for the block. They'll call him for the personal foul.
That's about all that Tripp could do, was just, he was in the right position as he was having to guard his man in the corner. He's right on the tape right there. Probably got as much ball as he did arm. Excellent pass by Slauson. And a nice cut by Heen. Just good basketball. We talked about it in the first half. The spacing by the Paladins offensively is so good. It allows back cuts, basket cuts, and driving lines for really all 5 guys that they put on the floor can put it on the deck.
Garrett Heen doing damage from the free throw line. Paladins, we noted, without a free throw for the first half. Second time this season that's been the case. The first in a victory over Belmont in Greenville. And Heen, 50% on the year, but now perfect 4 out of 4 on free throws, and the lead extends back out to 14.
Well, the Paladins took that initial punch by the Terriers out of the locker room at halftime, and now they've settled back in. What's Wofford have to continue to try to push pace, defend this potent Paladin offense, but also put points on the board.
Pavletsky losing the handle inside. Martin came over to help out, and it'll go back over to the Furman Paladins. Terriers have been without flow over their past couple of possessions. Pavletsky and Wofford knowing just one kind of defense they're facing tonight in Slauson. An undeniable impact. Happy Black History Month. Here at the arena known as by the locals, The Well in downtown Greenville, South Carolina, Furman Paladins playing one of their regular season home games in this building that holds more than 15,000. It's a home arena for an ECHL hockey team, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. You may remember last March, if you watch March Madness, first and second round games that included Coach K going against Tom Izzo on a Sunday. And the NCAA Women's Regional, one of them will be here this year. Furman's ball coming out of the timeout, looking to build on this lead. They were up by 18 at the break.
Against a 1-3-1. First time we've seen that. Took him a moment to try to get it for Pegues to kind of figure out what was right. Well, he certainly did.
go to the corners on a 1-3-1, and Alex Williams makes them pay.
That's exactly right. Look, you've got really 5 3-point shooters out there for Furman. They can all make shots. Tough to defend that, regardless of the defense.
Tripp works inside on Foster. Look to give it away, now he'll force it. Nice job by Corey Tripp. His role has expanded. He had 8 in the first meeting between the programs. He's got 4 so far tonight.
Well, he's improved his game from last year. Really had to with the loss of Max Klesmit, transferred to the University of Wisconsin. Morgan Safford went to Miami of Ohio, but he's really bought into his role. He's a guy that can get downhill.
Williams got a good guy to learn from in the senior Slauson. That looked like a Slauson drive down the lane. 5 straight points for Alex Williams, a sophomore from Xenia, Ohio.
Well, he's gotten in better shape, Williams. Still always going to be a big-bodied guy, but you know, that has helped keep him out of foul trouble, keep him on the court longer.
Force inside, Mack deflected out of bounds by Foster.
And you think about this, I mean, all of the players, the starters that Furman has, but you come off the bench with Vanderwall and you know, a guy like Williams who can make threes, but then he starts putting it on the floor and can take a hit. We haven't even talked about Tyrese Huey and Carter Witt, Joe Anderson. I mean, this is a really talented Furman team that is built to win, you know, a tournament, a 3-day tournament, because they can beat you with offense, but they're improving defense as well.
Got to go a long way back to the last time the Paladins, who forced a shot clock violation on the block by Vanderwall. Long time that a Furman team has made the big dance. Of course, the Southern Conference, an automatic bid, but it's been a one-bid league. Of course, Bob Ritchie's team with the ball in the air and the clock showing all zeros in overtime last March in Asheville against Chattanooga saw David Jean-Baptiste make the long 3 to win it for the Mocs and send them on to the NCAA, and they almost beat Illinois in the big dance. Bothwell losing it. In the corner, Vanderwall. Battle for the rebound. Tice gonna push the pace. Has numbers, splits the difference. And Amari Tice will head to the line. 1980 Furman team. And went to the NCAA tourney. That capped off a run of several NCAA trips during the 70s. We see the steal and quick points by Tice.
What nice job by Tice. He's really showed me something I haven't previously seen, the ability to transport that thing full court and then finish. It's about the 3rd time here. You're exactly right, though, Pete. 1980. I know Bob Ritchie, the Furman fans, they don't want to talk about it, but it's just hovering over what has really been a great run of about 6 or 7 years. When Nico Medved got this thing going, Bob Ritchie assisted him. When Medved went to Drake, he's now at Colorado State. Ritchie took over and has continued to elevate. But that's, and make no mistake, that's part of the reason Bothwell and Slauson wanted to come back.
This time it's Williams a chance for the and one. As Tice got him.
That is a terrific offensive move. Just outstanding body control, footwork, and then the finish for the old-fashioned three-pointer. Right? This has been a program where every year they've lost, you know, Stephen Kroon, Matt Raftery, Jordan Lyons, Clay Mounts, Noah Gurley goes to Alabama, and yet, you know, you can tell last year you lose Hunter and Garrison, and here comes Foster, Williams, Pegues. Future remains bright for this program.
McCorkle step back. Tice flies in. Back to the line for him.
Well, we talked about it in the first half. He's a high energy guy, active motor. Doesn't know what he doesn't know as a freshman either. I mean, he just runs to the rim right here. Nobody puts a body on him. He's athletic and long enough to get it, put it right back. Nice job. He's given Wofford good energy here.
Got a chance to get a new career high with the free throw. He won't. He's got 11 in the game. Been the most effective scorer so far for Wofford. Williams again with a hand in his face. Filowich able to deflect the rebound for the Terriers. Trying to get a little bit closer than 15 down.
And if you're Dwight Perry, you just hope that, you know, this unit in there can chip away at this and get it to a manageable number.
And Tice no. Filowich usually doesn't miss in close. Leads the SoCon in field goal percentage.
At 66%. I would say everything around the rim, but you're right. The Southern Illinois transfer doesn't miss much in close.
Wofford trying to get a stop. Heen out high. Carter Witt, who saw significant playing time at Wake. Oh, he thought he had the assist. Heen's second effort, no. And Filowich tips it out high.
Boy, and mark that down at the 12-20 mark. 13. Can Wofford take advantage?
Filowich can't get the extra effort to go down. Witt pushing the pace. Lost the handle. Foul will be called. They'll say he was in the act of shooting.
That's where Witt is at his best. In transition. Sneaky good athlete. Boy, as soon as he crosses half court, that's where good point guards know to make their decision. You can kind of see the play starting to develop at half court. Witt sees kind of that parting of the seas and an opportunity to get to the lane. Couldn't finish with a foul, but goes to the free throw line.
Carter Witt from Raleigh. Played 31 games, had 3 starts a season ago for Steve Forbes at Wake Forest. That was just his 6th free throw attempt of the season.
Yeah, just 2 of 5. Quite amazing for a guy that has the ball in his hands as much as he does. Although, you know, he was a part of the rotation early on and then kind of hit a lull in late December, early January. And Bob Ritchie said really kind of found his confidence, and he's now fully entrenched back in this rotation.
Makes 1 of 2. They were in a nip and tuck game at Chattanooga after they lost the last time against UNCG as Filowich loses it out of bounds. And Carter Witt had a key stretch with about 6 minutes to go. He scored 5 straight points. It propelled the Paladins onto the win. They look like they're propelling to another one. It would be a 6th straight, up by 14. Final game of the day in the Southern Conference. Already UNCG and Samford have held serve. Bulldogs on the home court. UNCG on the road. In the low country of South Carolina, win of the Citadel. Furman trying to remain in a 3-way tie for first. How about Justin Gray, former Chris Paul running mate at Wake Forest, had a great career there and beyond. And he's in his 2nd year guiding Western Carolina, one of the surprises of the league. Catamounts like Wofford and others, Dean, trying to vie for those 3 remaining slots between 4 and 6 because you want to stay off Friday at the SoCon tourney.
That is well said. The 3 at the top have separated themselves, but then you bunch, you know, that 4 through 9 group. The top 6 get a bye to the quarterfinals on Saturday. Seeds 7, 8, 9, and 10 play on Friday, to your point. Really hard to win 3 in a row, let alone 4 in a row in any conference tournament.
Didn't we see the Mercer Bears make a run a few years ago?
Yes, they did. They lost in the championship to Wofford, but yes, it is possible, but we haven't seen it in some time.
Last team to do it in the Southern Conference, 1939. Clemson Tigers had a star named Banks McFadden. Feeding the lane, and Slauson takes it away. Williams brings it front court. Remember, he had his career high of 20 against the Terriers the first time. 11 so far. Bothwell keeps the possession alive.
And that's just a winning play, right? Bothwell, we've seen it from other Paladins. Keeping those 50-50 balls alive, diving on the floor. Recycle a possession, give yourself a chance for some more points.
Well, that time Slauson almost made a great save of the miss by Foster. Trip, a little bit out of control, recovers, can't finish. Another empty possession for Wofford as we're at 11 to go. They can afford few of those down the stretch here.
They can ill afford, right? They had a couple of opportunities previously. Filowich and then Tripp. Your point, they've got to start getting points each possession.
And a foul called. It looked like Pavletsky was trying to get the pass away.
Wofford with some empty possessions, also with 10 turnovers. Some of that is due in part to this Paladin defense, but the Wofford's come in averaging just 10.9, just under 11 turnovers a game.
Wofford in a better than 2-minute scoring drought. Pavletsky spinning on Witt. Another rebound by Foster. Paladins do a nice job on the glass. Came in out rebounding folks by nearly 4 a game, and Foster a pretty finish on the other end.
You've got guys coming off the bench that simply don't disrupt the rhythm of the game for the Paladins. In fact, sometimes they'll elevate it, as we've seen with Williams.
Slauson will be called for the block. And Jalen Slauson picks up his first personal foul.
Yeah, watch Witt, little dump down. Foster just sees an opening right there, and no Terrier comes to converge on Marcus Foster. Many times he's the Paladins' most valuable or most important player. 4th year in the program. You know, we talk about 5 years for Bothwell and Slauson, but 4 for Foster. He's absolutely worked while he waited early on as well.
B.J. Mack, 5th in the SoCon in free throw percentage. 82%, missing both. And Slauson coming away with another rebound. Give him 7 in the game. Paladins on the other end, just 1 of their last 7. But the lead, 16. Look at the mismatch. Pavletsky, help comes. Williams gets the tip.
And nobody put a body on Williams. That's simply too easy, particularly when you're trying to mount a comeback.
Leads Furman with 13 points. Pavletsky scored Wofford's first 5, but quiet since. Civils from outside. Big 3 for a guy who leads this team at 40% beyond the arc, and White Perry will use a timeout. Wofford was down by nearly 20 at the break. They're trying to hang around against their arch rival in the SoCon, the Furman Paladins. Paladins a 15-point advantage here in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. In the 60s, and boy, Mike Jones in his 2nd year has picked up where Wes Miller left off with that fine program.
Well said. Yeah, that is a team that can beat you with defense, and it travels. They'll take it on the road. Keyshawn Langley, I mean, he can shoot a high percentage behind the arc, but his brother, his twin brother Kobe, is the Southern Conference leader in steals. He comes off the bench in that 6-man role. Yeah, that's a team that you've got to absolutely keep an eye on. And by the way, Mohammed Abdul Salam is playing his best basketball. The big 6'8" interior post player for the Spartans is now a guy that is at the top of most scouting reports.
Abdul Salam at a career-high 23 in the loss to Furman last week. Slauson and Bothwell playing catch, the veteran leaders for this fine Furman team, trying for a 19th win overall and a 10th in the SoCon. Bothwell is yet to score in the 2nd. Oh, that was cruel right there. Rolled around and hung.
Terrific move. Yeah, tried to do a victory lap, but spun out. Point well taken. Bothwell and Pegues have not scored, and yet you feel like the Paladins are still in control.
Up by 15, coming up on 9 to go. Adam Silas. Traveling is the call. Kobe Langley, twin brother Keyshawn Langley for UNCG, just is a victim of poor timing. He's in a league at the same time that Jalen Slauson is, or else he'd probably be the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, for sure. Boy, he buys into that defensive role. And he can score, by the way, but he buys into that defensive role so well and guards the Bothwells and other premier perimeter players in the league.
Silas almost took it away from Foster, who makes him pay.
You're just not going to take it away from him very often. He's too strong. He's too athletic. He gets in close like that, he's going to finish at a high clip.
Foster has 8. Pavletsky drives on Pegues, and there is a guy who is right up there with Jake Stevens among the best shot blockers, not only in this conference, but in mid-major basketball.
Slauson has something to say about it. Look, most good shot blockers don't block the player's shot that they're guarding. They come from the help side, much like Slauson does right there. He's not guarding Pavletsky, but he comes from the help side, swats it away.
Jalen Slauson nearing 40 blocks on the season. 16 on the shot clock off the inbound. Terrier's got a bit of a run, cut the 18-point deficit to 12 earlier in the 2nd half. Tice from outside. Jones battling with Foster inside. Marcus Foster comes away with it. Marcus Foster, a great example of the patience Bob Ritchie has in his program. And Slauson, another example on the other end. And a couple of guys who've grown here at Furman.
They all grow. Their player development is fantastic. It's a broken record, though. You absolutely have to get back on this Paladin offense. When you've got guards and bigs like Slauson that can run, boy, it is very, very dangerous. First the block, and then in transition, Slauson knows how to finish it. Furman back in control by 19. Impacts winning as much as any player in the Southern Conference, and he does it at both ends. At the defensive end, he can switch and guard out on the perimeter with active hands. We know he can score inside. He can knock down just enough threes, and then the reigning defensive player of the Southern Conference knows how to block shots. Pete, he's got a chance to duplicate what was done just a couple of years ago, and that is be the player of the year and the defensive player of the year.
With Isaiah Miller of UNCG, and I got to tell you, Dean, Isaiah Miller always looked like a guy who was athletic beyond basketball.
Yeah.
Would make a great, I think, cover corner in football. And Jalen Slauson, who was a linebacker as a high school football player, he could be an NFL tight end, in my opinion. It could be Antonio Gates all over again.
There's strength, there's toughness. He's a competitor. My guess is he'll make some money playing in professional sports, more than likely basketball.
Chase Martin, the three for the Terriers, back to a 16-point game. Antonio Gates, who, by the way, played a couple of games in this building a little over 20 years ago when he was at Kent State in an NCAA tourney.
That was a great run that Stan Heath had for the Golden Flashes. Won 30 games that year.
They beat Oklahoma State and then Alabama here in the Well in 2002. Vanderwall, we've seen him do damage outside. That time he cleans up underneath.
Yeah, he's growing up before Paladin fans' eyes. Every game, every week, you see something just a little bit better or something you haven't seen.
Under 7 to go from way outside. Martin, and an opportunity for 3 free throws. Foster rung up for the personal.
Yeah, there was a lot of contact right there. Marcus Foster, a little stern face, not showing a lot of emotion, but watch this here again. I don't know, a little pushing between Foster and Mack. It was as much Foster just trying to get through what was a screen, a dribble handoff by B.J. Mack.
Well, they say it was a non-shooting situation. Slauson tried to take it away. Arrow on the held ball will get it back over to Furman.
We said at the top how good this Paladin offense was. And I'm probably as impressed, if not more impressed, with their defense here, both individually and collectively. They've been outstanding all evening.
Paladin's preseason pick to win the SoCon. Vanderwall able to recover. Shot clock under 10. Pegues, he was good from that spot in the opening half. B.J. Mack the rebound. Terriers need to get going in a hurry, down by 18. The same difference we had at the break.
It's kind of now or never. The next couple of minutes really key for the Terriers.
Soft touch by the big guy. B.J. Mack on the night. 12 points after he scored 21 in the first meeting.
Well, he and Pavletsky, they're the two key Terriers at the offensive end. They're going to have to be exceptional here in the last couple minutes.
Could see that one coming, as Slauson, probably because he raised his left hand, they might have gotten him on the contact, but it was a no-brainer, I do believe, based on how quick the whistle was.
Not quite sure why there was so much discussion by Slauson. That was pretty clear. Was it afterwards? Bob Ritchie going to take the senior out just to calm him down again. I'm sure we'll see him before the night's out, though.
Slauson's third personal foul. And knocked away one some more. Only Terriers giving up more than they are accustomed to. Not for Foster. Martin and the Terriers in the front court. Wofford 14 turnovers so far. They average just under 11 on the season. Pavletsky, runner, uses the glass.
Boy, he took a hard hit right there, but was able to finish freshman on freshman. Pavletsky over the outstretched arms of Vanderwall. Boy, watch this right here. Nifty little move. Geese gets hung up. Vanderwall tries to wall up, but his momentum carries him into Paveletzky. Great concentration. I thought Heen might have got him as well. I'm not sure who the call was on.
Ben Vanderwall picks up his second. He came over late to help. Jackson Paveletzky. A lot of areas where he is really good overall in the SoCon. One of them at the line. Second in the conference, 86%. Three-point play. And Wofford back to within 15, but they've been unable to knock that door down over the past 8 minutes or so on the game clock.
And they're doing it without Pegues and Bothwell really putting a lot of points on the board. Alex Williams, Vanderwall, even Heen have all been prominent here offensively for the Paladins in the second half, that now facing that 1-3-1 again.
Williams leaving it short. Boy, look at Slauson still battling as Silas came away with it. Martin trying to score from 2, and he does.
Nifty little move right there.
And just like that, Wofford as close as they've been in a long time, but still down by 11. Bob Ritchie says he is not a fan of calling timeouts in game action. He just as soon wait to the under. Bothwell, the drive, he'll go to the line.
Well, I like that philosophy, and he always likes to have a couple of timeouts in his back pocket in the last couple minutes, kind of a la Dean Smith. But it's a little easier to kind of let guys play through runs when you've got experience like a Bothwell and a Slauson and a Foster, 4th and 5th year guys.
Amari Tice, you see, hobbling, the Terrier freshman who provided them a burst of scoring off the bench. And he will head there. 11 points to match his career high. And we'll see if he's able to return. Bothwell, so good in so many ways this year. Second in the conference at 19 points a game. Leads this Furman team, 84%. Paladins top 50 in free throws nationally. And Bothwell's first point of half number 2 here at the 4:36 mark. Give him 10 in the game.
He's a guy out of Cleveland, Ohio. Boy, he had to fly over a lot of Mid-American and Horizon and other schools to get to Greenville, South Carolina. But Bob Ritchie and staff certainly happy that he did that 5 years ago.
As Bob Ritchie will tell you, a little pump fake by Mack. He'll step back from long range. It'll go for 3 for Mack. 5 straight field goals for the Terriers. They're back within 10. But it's not like Slauson or Bothwell came right in, played right away, and were scoring in double figures, let alone seeing double-figure minutes early in their careers. Heen from outside. Big answer for Garrett Heen.
What a huge shot, maybe the biggest of the second half for the Paladins. Just when you thought, man, last gasp effort by the Terriers, cutting it to 10.
Mack, by the way, 15 of the game, lost the handle, taken away, Williams.
And just like that, the lead back to 15, a 3 by Heen, a steal and dunk by Williams. 2 guys off the bench that get this crowd back on their feet.
Williams has 15. McCorkle. Filowitz defended by Heen. Coming up on 3 to go in regulation. Filowitz off the glass for the Southern Illinois transfer. And a timeout will be called by Dwight Perry and Wofford. Terriers had closed within 10 at 70-60, but Furman can ignite in a hurry.
Yeah, Dwight Perry couldn't wait for that under 4. He had to use his last timeout. Furman, boy, every time you try to knock it down, they come.
Decided by a point each, but with 3:08 to go, they're up by 13 here this evening. Paladins team trying to get to 19 wins overall and to 10 in the SoCon, and trying to make it 12 wins in their last 14 games. Dean, we knew coming in, each team with a specific set of guidelines for success. Let's revisit your keys to the game.
Yeah, the Wofford Terriers just haven't knocked down enough threes. 7 is a decent number, but you got to get in double digits if you're going to beat this Paladin team. For Furman, boy, they've carried out the plans. They've pounded the boards, +6. They've been +7 rebound margin during their 5-game win streak. They've defended better than what that 52% mark would suggest. They have forced Wofford into 14 turnovers, which they've turned into points.
If I told you coming in, Furman would shoot 52%, Wofford 48% with about 3 minutes to go in the game, that's where they would be. You'd think they're going to have another 1-point outcome or close to it.
For sure.
Rebounds have been pretty close in the game, and in the second half, Wofford's been good on the glass, but Furman's been so consistent in this game offensively. McGeese nearly dragged the foot. Obviously, Terriers need to go all stops here defensively. Shot clock coming up on 5. Slauson, he can step out.
He understands what this rivalry's about. He understands what this game and trying to keep pace with UNC Greensboro and Samford is about. He's arguably the player of the year as we sit here on early February.
33 points in the 2 games against the Terriers, 16 so far tonight. Mack, shot clock at 5. Tripp, lost the handle. Apparently knocked away by Williams. Just 2 roughly on the shot clock. 2.3 to be exact. And really a must score for the Terriers.
Watch this again. A little dribble penetration by McGeese. The defense sucks in below the free throw line extended. Slauson knocks it home for his second 3 and now 16th point. That leads all scores.
B.J. Mack will head to the line this time. 4th foul on Jalen Slauson. So an opportunity to get 3 points without the clock moving and get back within a 13-point deficit.
You think about this again. We've said it time and time again. Jalen Slauson fills the stat sheets. He's now got 16 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and an assist. He is arguably one of the most valuable players in college basketball. That follows what he did in the win against Chattanooga earlier in the week. 15 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. And that was a stat line that put him in elite company. The only Division I player in the past 2 years to have those kind of numbers.
Mack makes it a 78-64 game. Yeah, one of the most versatile players in all of Division I. And Jalen Slauson and the Paladins on their way to a 4th straight regular season win in this series. Bob Ritchie, one of the few teams he doesn't have a winning record against that he's faced multiple times. He came in just 5-7 against Wofford.
When you've got a 71, almost 72% winning percentage, and you've dominated in many respects the Southern Conference. Yeah, interesting. Although when he first became the head coach, he was facing some really good Wofford teams coached by Mike Young, who's now got a really good win against Virginia at Castle Coliseum today.
They've been great over the past couple of weeks in ACC play, have the Hokies. Terriers get the stop, down by 14. Pavletsky with Slauson right behind. Another rebound for Jalen Slauson. Probably not going to get another double-double, but that's his 8th. By the way, in a thrilling ball game, Wofford's women on the front end of this men's-women's doubleheader here in the Well got a 3-point win, so the Furman men trying to gain the split. Another rebound, 8th, and now 9 in the game for Slauson, so maybe he will get the double-double. Paladin is just working clock. Pegues defended by Silas. Soft touch, J.P. Pegues continues to improve the Nashville native. And now a substitution timeout called by Bob Ritchie. His team comfortably in front by 16. Take a timeout here in Greenville. Paladins rolling. Moments ago, we in the series, and Vanderwall off the miss for Furman as play resumes. Pavletsky steps back. He'll head to the line. That's a dangerous shooter to put up there with 3 free throws. Not going to matter, though, with 19.5 to go. So Furman about to go to 19-6 and 10-2 in the SoCon. They will stay atop Southern Conference play with UNCG and Samford also 10-2. Ahead for the Paladins, a visit to Birmingham. Final game of the regular season. After Furman won in overtime a couple of Wednesdays ago in a back-and-forth battle against the Bulldogs in Greenville.
Yeah, that game looms large. A number of games before that, but yeah, circle the calendar. Furman just continues. This is now their 6th consecutive win, as you see Dwight Perry. And credit Dwight and his staff. This Terrier team being down big at half, they came out, they fought early in the second half, and they've tried to do everything they can. It's just really a tough challenge when you're playing the Furman Paladins right now. They are clicking on all cylinders at both ends.
Wofford will fall to 13-12, 5-7 in the SoCon, but the Terriers still very much viable to finish in the top 6. That's their focus. Bob Ritchie and Furman last won a SoCon regular season crown in 2017. They'd love to repeat that and then some with a ball club. The returnees for this Furman team had their hearts broken in Asheville a year ago. They hope to leave that Western North Carolina city smiling this March. Update the standings on this final SoCon day on the first Saturday in February. Final SoCon game of the day. And the Paladins now at 10-2 with Samford and UNCG. Don't sleep on the Catamounts of Western Carolina. A dangerous team. They can let it fly from all over the court. Wofford, Mercer, and ETSU each at 5-7. Citadel, Chattanooga, and VMI follow. Furman gets another win in its long series with Wofford. We'll come back with more here in Greenville after this.